Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome to Riding Around and Gigging It. If you're trying to make $200 a day with DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, or any gig work, you came to the right place. These apps won't tell you this, but there's a strategy to the game. And if you don't know it, you're definitely leaving money on the table. I'm going to break it all down, the best times to drive, which orders to take, and which orders to decline, in the words of the late Bernie Mac, immediately, and how to work smarter, not harder. Let's get into it. All right, so you got to work the right hours. Timing is everything in gig work. If you're online at the wrong time, you'll just be sitting there burning gas, waiting on orders that never come. The best times to drive, the earlier the better. If you can get out when the competition's less, because most people don't get up early. You got a lot of people that's going to be getting up at 8, 9, 10. So if you can get out at like 5, 5:30, 6, between that and like 10, you should do pretty good, especially with Lyft, even the DoorDash, Uber Eats too, because a lot of people order breakfast. And if you can get around a Starbucks or something like that, you should do pretty good in the morning. And then after that, you have the lunch rush, which I prefer to do the food apps during this time. I really don't do a lot of Lyft and Uber during this time. The food is pretty good. And if you can get in a good area with like office buildings and stuff like that, you can get some really large catering orders that pay out pretty good. And then you got like the dinner hours. That's like 5 to 10 p.m. That's usually a pretty good time. I noticed that around 8:30 you can get a dead time. Sometime between like 8 and 9:30 you might get a dead time, and it might pick back up around 9:30. I've done a lot of different areas. I've like DoorDashed all over the country, so I find that to be pretty consistent through most of the metro areas. And then another good time is weekend mornings, like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. As far as giving rides, if you can stomach it and deal with the smell of alcohol, you do pretty good. I tend to not like to be out at these times. I've been in the game for a long time, almost a decade, and I used to do the nights. I won't do them so much now because I've built such a good success, and next day that I'm not really desperate for cash like that. But that is a good time to get out. And then, like I said, the weekend mornings too, after people wake up and hangovers, or they just not working and they want to order breakfast, they don't want to get up and leave. So yeah, Saturday, Sunday mornings are pretty good. Now the bad time to drive usually is like 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. because you'll get the food drop off, so people are going back to work after lunch. So you can get some orders. You might have to nickel and dime, like $5 orders here or $6 orders. Some of them $3. I don't accept any $3 orders. So if it's $3.50 and below, I don't accept them. I don't care if I can walk next door and drop it off. I don't accept those orders just out of principle. And on to the next. Only accept profitable orders. Look, not every order is worth taking. If you're taking $3 orders going 8 miles, you're pretty much working for free, because that's you spending more on gas and maintenance eventually. And that goes to the other decline underwater orders. Avoid no tip orders. That's something else. That $2, that $3, that's like a base pay. Stop taking those orders. People treat you how you let them treat you. So if y'all out here taking $2, $3 orders, people are gonna feel good because they know somebody will get it. If the orders take forever and they know that they have to pay more for better service, people will do that. Don't let people treat you bad. That's just a life lesson. I like to give out life lessons. Aim for $2 per mile. That's pretty much a sweet spot. That's where I try to stick around. If I catch something going back to a busy area, I may take it if it's at $1. But for the most part, I try to make sure my orders are at least $2 per mile. That's even if I get a large order, I still kind of stick to that. And then stacked orders could be good too. I like stacked orders if they're close, or if they're 2 orders coming from the same place. Some people do different stacked orders, but usually I know my area, and if you know your area, I will only take stacked orders from different places that may have a little distance if I know that they're pretty consistent with having the orders on time. If I know that they're slow, I don't go. So for rideshare, stick to short to medium trips. Long distance rides might seem great, but coming back with an empty car, pretty much losing money, and it's extra wear and tear on your cars. So I do Lyft 90% of the time because Lyft has a radius filter. So you can stay within 5 miles of the point you set. So I'll start from home. I'll set the 5 mile radius and it'll only give you rides within that 5 mile radius. What I try to do with that is I try to have it in the busiest area. I'm in Kansas City, so I'll have it in downtown Kansas City. And then what I'll try to do is use those filters when I know that there's going to be surge pricing. So you can kind of stay in the area where the surge is at. That's why the radius filter is really good. If you set it to 5 miles in the area with surge pricing, you could take those normal rides that'll be like $3 to $5 and they'll start being $8 to $9. If you catch a busy time, you can get 4 or 5 rides in an hour. Some of those rides are $18, $15. And in that hour, you're making $30 to $40 an hour. So that's a good tip to use. And speaking of like surges and bonuses with DoorDash, you got peak pay. It's good to get orders during peak pay times. You get a lot of those like on the weekends if the weather's bad. You know, if there's like an event like here in Kansas City, if the Chiefs play, then you're going to get less drivers out because they're trying to watch the game. But you'll have people that's wanting to order for whatever watch party they're having, and you can get a lot of a peak pay during that time and make a good amount of money. Usually I'll work the first half because after halftime, the orders slow down. So even on Sundays, I'm the biggest Chiefs fan ever, but I'll still get that money from the first and second quarters of the game. And yeah, like I said, I already mentioned Uber and Lyft, their surges. And then Lyft, I think Uber still has it, but Lyft has like a bonus hour. That's good if to go on your app and see what the bonus hours are. So a lot of times the bonus hours could be $2 for every ride you get within an hour, $3. Sometimes if it's really slow or a big event, it'll be $5 an hour. So the last tip, as far as maximizing your money, use apps to track where you're going. Like GridWise is really good. That's what I use. They don't pay me anything to sponsor. If y'all see this, hit me up. We could talk about it. Upside is really good as far as getting cash back on gas. And even with the cash back, I use the Lyft card and the DoorDash. They got a new one, Crimson, that gives you cash back. Crimson is 2% cash back every time you get gas. A note on that is with Crimson, you have to get the gas at the pump. If you go inside to pay, they won't pay out. With the Lyft debit card and the Uber debit card, it doesn't matter. As long as you're at a gas station, you're going to get the cash back. I know Lyft, if you get to the platinum and the gold tier, the cash back is like 7% and maybe a little bit higher. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, those are good ways to, get a little more cash in your pocket. My last suggestion is don't chase orders. Don't chase the bonuses. You really should be planning ahead of time. You should really know your market and where to go. If you get an order that's going into an area with a surge or a peak pay, that's fine. But you can waste a lot of gas trying to chase bonus areas because they change all the time. Depending on the frequency, you can have like a $9 surge or lift. You drive the 2 miles to get there, then it falls down to $2 or it disappears altogether. So that's not really a good idea to chase around these surges and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the goal is profit and not just working a ton of hours. All right, so that's how I hit 200 a day in gig work. If this helped y'all out, drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you know any more tips and you want to contribute, leave them in the comments. Like I said, I'll be dropping more money-making strategies, scam warnings, and real-life gig stories. So stay tuned. Now get out there and get that bag. Don't let these apps play you.